Donald Trump accused Canada of flooding the U.S. market with aluminum and says he's reimposing tariffs to protect American workers.
Earlier today, I signed a proclamation that defends American industry by reimposing aluminum tariffs on Canada. Canada was taking advantage of us, as usual. And I signed it, and it imposes, because the aluminum business was being decimated by Canada, very unfair to our jobs and our great aluminum workers.
For more on this, we're joined by Ian Lee. He's an associate professor at Carleton University's Sprott School of Business. Thank you so much for joining us. Ian, how damaging will a 10% tariff on unprocessed Canadian aluminum be for the industry?
It's going to hurt because we export a lot of our aluminum, which is principally located in Quebec, to the United States. The second point, of course, is that the demand for aluminum, especially high-end products produced by the Quebec companies, are down because it's the auto industry in their need for lighter weight vehicles that consumes about a third of all of the aluminum produced. Those lines were shut down because of the COVID crisis. And so the demand went down. Canadian exports in those markets of high-end aluminum went down. So they switched to producing more, let's call it generic aluminum, you know, the tin foil in our ovens and that sort of thing. And that is what the Americans are calling a surge. All Quebec did was stop producing high-end sophisticated aluminum for the auto industry and switch to producing generic because of the collapse in demand for aluminum from the auto industry shutting down from COVID. The Americans, the two companies principally affected by this, are complaining that Canada is, quote, surging and dumping. And so you can see that President Trump is using this on the campaign trail for his reelection to garner support for his reelection.
So, Ian, what does this mean for the Canadian economy?
Well, it's not going to devastate the Canadian economy. I mean, we're 80% service sector, for starters. The totality of natural resources, and I don't want to trivialize it. Natural resources is very important, but it's about 12% or so of GDP. But to the people employed in those industries, and specifically in aluminum industry in Quebec, this is very real. This is going to hurt jobs. This is going to probably cause layoffs. So while it may not affect, somebody working in Ottawa in the government of Canada, or in the public sector, if you are in the natural resource sector and specifically in aluminum production, this can be devastating because it could lead to shutdowns and layoffs.
Ian, what is the strategy behind slapping tariffs on one of your biggest allies?
I think that the politics cannot be ignored. I mean, where did he announce it? Did he announce it in a low-key way in the White House and the press briefing room? No, he announced it at a campaign rally in the Midwest, the area that was crucial to his election in 2016 and will be again, and an area that has been devastated in the last 4, 5, 10 years by the whole rusting out. So I found I don't think it's a coincidence that he announced it there in the American Midwest, saying, I'm standing up for American workers, and I'm going to stand up to those Canadians who are taking our jobs away. So, I mean, you can see how he's politicizing it, and unnecessarily so, but I think he wants to change the topic away from COVID, where he's been so disastrous, and change it to these economic issues that he thinks were so successful because it led to his election in 2016.
Ian Lee, associate professor at Carleton University's Sprott School of Business. Ian, thanks for taking the time today.
Thank you, Heather.